I think everybody needs to have a passion in their lives, and at some point as you get older, you want to feel like you're contributing back. And in 1999, somebody asked me if I could help them get water for rural Honduras, after Hurricane Mitch. The Pepsi, asking the CEO of Pepsi if he could possibly get some water for rural Honduras, and I gave him a phone number, and that was the extent of what I did. Well, then somebody said, well, why don't you come down and see this area in Honduras? It's very remote. And so I went to it, and they took me up to a little village, and the mayor of the village introduced me, and he said, this is the man who saved our lives. He got us the water. And I thought, oh my God, all I did was make a phone call. And so I looked at the area, looked at all the needs, and I thought, well, is there something I can do? So I started asking friends to go, and now we've gotten to a point where we'll have 50 to 60 friends go down, and we've done it for years. We have a wonderful school that we've built, water filters. Paul Ray he's the water boy. He gets the water filters out there, which literally instantly save lives.
The village in Las Manzales was in need of putting in some floors, because these people have nothing but dirt floors. And as you might guess, that causes a little problem with sanitary issues. They kept thinking. What we did is we helped them build their concrete floors. So you basically pour all the sand, gravel, and cement on the ground, then you pour water on it, and you mix it up, literally with shovels. A big circle of us with shovels, just throwing it on top, just to make the concrete the right consistency. And then we put it in buckets, literally 5-gallon buckets. Those 5-gallon buckets can weigh as much as 80 or 90 pounds each. So it's really, really hard work to, doing this. It's not just a simple, easy thing to do. These are, little 8 by 10 building that's all they have for a home. So we pour that on the floor, and the homeowner helps us with it. So the other thing that we had a chance to build for these people were pilas. Pila is basically a big concrete sink that's outside. It's how they get their water, it's how they wash their clothes, and how they prepare their food, and they're rinsing their food, and all the things that they do that involve water are centered around this pila. And this pila is basically a set of concrete blocks that's built up, and they put a sealed sink into it. But this thing enables so much benefit that they need for keeping their clothes clean, for washing their food, all those things that I just mentioned. But it really is the center. And the ones that do not have this are stuck. They have to bring their water in a bucket all the time. It's very impractical for them to keep their world clean. But those were the two big things that we worked on in building this last week.
When we got to the ranch, one of the first things we did is we had an orientation. Bob Hope came over to me and he said, I know what you need to do at the school, and you need to be part of the painting team. So what we did is we went over to the Hope School. So we had crews set up, and it took us 3 days, but we basically painted the entire exterior of both the elementary school and the middle school. And it was really nice to see people come in and lead and take leadership. So it was a great cooperative experience, a lot of painting. But one of the unexpected surprises, and I'd heard the story of Ali Rodriguez. She grew up in the village, she went to college, got an engineering degree, and then she came back. My hidden project was to take the cabine reading system. Alejandro and I were able to work with our friend Olga as she was working with the children. What happened was, Ali and I both were in tears watching the children excitement using this cabine wand with our friend Olga. I got to see Ali a few times, and we agreed that she's going to help us in development of this cabine wand reading system.
When I started the water filter project, I had no idea what the impact was going to be. I just knew that I didn't want to mix concrete anymore. That was one of my least favorite things to do. I started going to the Central Honduras in 2014, and in 2016 I took over the water filter project for the wilderness team. It was at that time that I didn't understand how important that clean water was to these people. It's a game changer for them, honestly. The day I put in a water filter system like this one is the day their life improves, that day. I mean, it's not a week, it's not an hour later, it's right then. And many days work. The mom was sick, the baby was sick because of waterborne illness. Now the fact that we put these water filters in, the people are able to have clean water 3 days of school year as opposed to 53 days of school year. Anybody can actually do it. It doesn't take any chemicals. Once we put one in, they last about 8 years. And 3 years later, when Emory and CDC did their study, they realized that the improvement in the health of the kids, you can't teach unhealthy kids. So if they're going to show up for school, they got to be healthy. That's why we started working on the concrete floors and the water filters, is so that we could have healthier students to teach them to have a better life, so we create hope in the valley. That's one of the few things they have down there is hope.
Well, one of the things you find is that the term ugly American is well earned. So the first few years we went down there, we saw all these things that we knew needed to be done, and we go back and tell people, you need to do this, you need to do that. We viewed ourselves as strategists. And then after about 5 years of going down there, we realized, well, you can't really do anything if you don't have money. So we started a foundation. It's Honduras Agalta Valley Education Foundation, which is a nonprofit, and raise money. And that way we could, build the schools, continue to, fund students and pay for the teachers and do all the things you need to do if you really want to have a great school. And we do have a great school. You look at it now and think, well, my gosh, when there was no school before, now you have this magnificent school with all these wonderful kids that are so talented and now have a reason to dream in life and know that they can fulfill those dreams.
Imagine there's no heaven.
We were painting at the school, and I met this girl that they was singing, and she was so sweet, and she was kind of looking for a friend, and we started talking, and then she opened and told me her story that it was a little bit shock for me. Her mom was killed, the father doesn't exist, like she lives with the grandpas, and she knows how to sing, and she's like asking questions, and it was just so good to be in touch with her. And she didn't have any source, so I became her sponsor. So it's good, and it's just $100 per month, a payment for food and school and everything. So this is just amazing. And she just wrote a letter for me by hand. She wrote that now she's inspired, that she wants to be professional. Like, at least we're helping these people, these little girls, to have dreams and think big.
I always tell people, you can go down there, if there are 50 or 60 people, you don't have to know a single one when you get there. And by the end of the week, you have 50 new friends.
Ba